welcome to another episode of the Elevated Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts, owner of Elevated Beauty Aesthetics in Sierra Vista, Arizona, and today's episode is going to be about forest bathing. So this is a term that I wasn't aware of, but this is something that I've practiced since I was a child, and you're going to learn a little bit more about it, of course, but it helps to reduce stress. It just helps you to meditate, be one with nature, and there are many additional benefits that we can talk more about. So yeah, if you're interested, keep on listening, and maybe it's something that you unknowingly practice already. Okay, so I will admit the term in itself does sound a little woo-woo, hippie, but it's not. It's normal and natural for humans to want to connect with nature, and I think it's really important, especially in today's society. So forest bathing is a term that was kind of coined, I think, in the 1980s. It started like in Japan, but this is obviously something that humans have done forever, I'm sure. So anyways, in Japan, it's a really urban city, really big city, and there are actually doctors there that prescribe forest bathing for the people that live in urban areas. So forest bathing is basically just spending time out in nature. So spending, anywhere from 30 minutes to a few hours, even camping out in the forest, just in nature, secluded from the everyday hustle and bustle, secluded from technology. And what this is doing, it's allowing you to connect deeper with yourself. It's allowing you to take a break from all of the sensory stimuli that is happening out in your daily life. So not only does forest bathing allow you to connect on a deeper level with yourself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but it helps to reduce anxiety. A lot of anxiety is triggered by social stimuli, sensory stimuli, and taking a break from that and just being one with nature really helps to decrease that. It helps with depression. It helps to boost our creativity and our intuition. And just to put it plainly, it always makes me feel better. It's a great reset. My family and I, we go camping at least once a year. We haven't been camping this year. We were meant to, and then it didn't happen because my daughter got sick. But we live right on the Huachuca Mountains, so I can sit on my back patio in the evening, and it's quiet on base where we live. Surprisingly, it's one of the few military bases that's quiet, but just sitting in our backyard with a view of the mountains in the evening is so peaceful. That's not necessarily forest bathing, but it does allow me to get a view of nature and to sit in peace and silence outside. If you don't have a wooded area, a forest near you, like a state park or anything, just take a walk down a quiet street, like a country road, go near a pond or a lake or just somewhere with trees. And obviously, when you go and take this time by yourself, you want to, if you go anywhere secluded like that, you need to make sure that you're protecting yourself, have your phone on you, have obviously a weapon or something, and let people know where you're going, because I don't want to encourage you to go out to a secluded area all alone and not, because we do need to be aware that there are people out there. So I just want to put that out there. Let people know where you're going to go. It is important to do things alone sometimes and just be one with your thoughts, but definitely let your partner or someone know where you're going to be. But yeah, I grew up we had private property. I don't know how many acres it was, but we had a lot. We had, it was myself, my mom and my dad, and then across the pasture was my grandparents, and then my aunt, my uncle. So we all were on this big plot of property, and we had a little patch of woods, and we would ride our four-wheeler through there, and my grandpa made a little shooting range in the back. Like, it was very country living. So I could always, when I was like stressed out as a kid, I've had anxiety pretty much my whole life, and I didn't know it for a long time. But as a child, I would go and ride the four-wheeler out there, and then I would just like turn it off, and then I would just lay on the four-wheeler seat and just like take a nap out there, just listen to nature. I would sometimes just like to walk out there, and I never really understood that it was forest bathing, obviously, but I just knew like being out in nature made me feel good. And of course, I grew up in Louisiana, so was a lot of pine trees, oak trees, like just a lot of wooded forest. Here, where I live now in Arizona, there's not as much. We have the mountains, but a lot of it is like, it's not those tall trees like pine forest or anything like that. So it's a different kind of nature than I'm used to, but it can still be peaceful. There actually is like this little, I don't know if it's a state park, but it's like a little park not too far from where I live, and I've been out there once. I would like to go again, but they have, this big open field with some trails that you go down, and then they have this like one humongous giant oak tree that you can actually climb up, and it's like a little clubhouse in there. It's so weird. It's like it's meant to be climbed, and you're meant to sit up inside of that tree. But anyways, just little things like that. Just search and look around and find a place that brings you peace and joy, somewhere that's like easily accessible to you, that you can go quite often whenever you feel like you need that reset. I think especially in today's age, so many things are online. We make connections virtually on social media, and we forget how important it is to make connections with nature. So I just want to encourage you guys to take care of your mental health and emotional, spiritual health as well. And if this interests you, look more into forest bathing. I mean, it is what it is. You spend time in nature and you feel better. But yeah, try it out if you haven't before. You might be surprised by how good it makes you feel, and what new discoveries you might make within yourself, sitting in that silence. It's actually kind of funny because, I said we go camping once a year, and in 2018, my husband and I, we went camping over 4th of July weekend, and with our dogs as well. We had 2 dogs, and we didn't have any, like, signal out there, and all we brought was, like, a deck of cards. So we didn't have a lot to do besides talk, and, they had a reservoir there, and it was beautiful scenery, but, even though it was 4th of July weekend, it was in Washington, and it was cold, so we couldn't, exactly get in the water. So we didn't have a lot of activities to do, so we just, went on a lot of walks, and then had a lot of conversations. And it was actually during that camping trip that we decided to try to get pregnant and have our daughter, which we have now, and she's 3 years old. So if it wasn't for that experience in nature, we probably wouldn't have our baby girl right now. So yeah, it's just something that I love, and I wanted to share with you guys. As always, thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you next Monday, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, for another episode.